Marketers who rely on LinkedIn sharing data to prove the value of their content marketing are in trouble, particularly B2B marketers. On February 7th, 2018, LinkedIn removed social sharing counts. So here's the official announcement. The Share on LinkedIn plugin, also known as the InShare plugin, will no longer display the counter that shows the number of shares. Removes blah, 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 API stuff. Why this deprecation? The share count on its own doesn't fully reflect the impact that a piece of content delivers, and we encourage publishers and other content creators to leverage the InShare plugin as a way to drive conversation and engage with members on LinkedIn. Now, if you've been in content marketing a while, this should sound really familiar because Twitter made the same pronouncement in late 2015. They said, the tweet button counts the number of tweets that have been tweeted with the exact URL specified in the button. This count does not reflect the impact of Twitter on the conversation about your content. It doesn't count replies, quotes, variants of your URLs, nor does it reflect the fact that some people tweeting these URLs might have many more followers than others. So here's the part that social networks don't get. Yes, there may be more impact of a piece of content than just the shares alone, but the shares alone is a pretty good number. For social media managers, for marketing managers, a lot of folks rely on these numbers. Yes, they're basic, but they are apples to apples, especially when you're doing competitive comparisons. If I have Technology Company 1 and Technology Company 2, and I have 2 blog posts from each, I can do an apples to apples comparison. I could do an apples to apples comparison if the APIs allowed it, of how many times blog 1 post was shared versus Company 2's blog post was shared. Now, none of these numbers are KPIs. They're not substitutes for well-attributed business impact, but they do provide directional value, and they provide that competitive value because we don't have access to our competitors' web analytics. So at Brain Trust Insights, what we did was we decided, let's solve this problem. This is an interesting problem to solve. We have a great training data set, 250,000 records of stuff that was shared in the past and the number of times it was shared in the past. It's historical data. Machine learning lets us use that data set to train an algorithm, to train some software, to understand when other factors happen, this is a likely time something was shared. And so we built this using R and an algorithm called mice multiple imputation with chained equations, and used it to fill in the blanks because, again, B2B marketers need this information. B2B marketers say, hey, I want the information for my own blog posts. And what happens if you take away somebody's metric for measuring stuff? They're going to resort to other things. They'll go back to counting followers and stuff. Nobody wants that. So we built this machine learning algorithm. We ran it. We tested it a whole bunch of times, 90 separate tests, 90 separate variations. And what we found was that the algorithm was 98.2% accurate in guessing the value based on the training data set. So we knocked out 10% of the database, intentionally deleted it, ran the algorithm, then compared what the algorithm came up with the actual data from the historical training set. And 98.2% accurate overall within 2 standards of deviation, meaning that taking out a couple of the random outliers on each end, is 99.5% accurate. So we're real happy with this methodology of using machine learning to infer these values. And now we want to share with you how this stuff works. So the algorithm, show you what the testing and training looks like. We've got a brand new white paper on the Brain Trust Insights website. You'll find the link in the blog post here. Give it a read through. If you have questions, happy to answer them. Our contact information is at the end of the white paper. And if you'd like us to do this for your company, we'll figure out ways to engage to do that. But the important thing is that as marketers, as data-driven professionals, we can't just throw our hands up in the air and give up when we're presented with either missing data or withdrawal of data. Instead, we've got to get clever with things like machine learning and artificial intelligence and statistical software to fill in the blanks, to solve the problem with the data we already have, and to be able to use this on an ongoing basis. So please check out the white paper. Thanks for watching, and talk to you soon.